Hey, so I'm Steve Young. I'm a principal consultant at Medidata Solutions and just got done presenting at a conference on risk-based monitoring. Very engaged audience, really interesting presentations, and my presentation was looking at best practices around centralized monitoring, but I also presented updates on a lot of really interesting industry trends that we've compiled from our Insights metric warehouse. And among the metrics that were really interested the audience were metrics that we took 4 different site performance quality metrics and we compiled them by global region to actually see if site quality was lagging in emerging regions versus what we call established or Western regions, North America and Western Europe.
In this room today, there's been some discussion about risk-based monitoring in emerging regions, or I'll say from a clinical research perspective, not established or mature regions from a GCP, ICH perspective. There's generally less clinical research experience in Eastern regions, in Latin, South America compared to North America and Western Europe. There's language barriers, there's cultural differences. Perhaps sites, because of that lack of experience and those other barriers, are going to be more prone to errors and unreliable data. And so, of course, we started asking, well, what does the data say around that? We measured 4 different site performance quality metrics, and actually, you'll see, I'll show you the first one, actually plotted the trends, the actual benchmarks by global region. We broke the world into 8 global regions. The ones that we shaded in green we're calling the established regions, North America and Western Europe. This first one, auto query rate, generally is a good measure of relative sloppiness of data entry, how much trouble our sites have in getting data entered correctly the first time. The more auto queries that fire, the lower the apparent quality. Well, what you're seeing here is sites in emerging regions in general are not any worse than the only one that's as high as North America, Western Europe is probably the Middle East. Relatively small subset of data. All of the other regions are actually equal to or better than North America, Western Europe. A very interesting result. So I would say, if I look at this graph, I'd say if anything, you're seeing more reliable transcription of data in the non-established regions, the non-Western regions, at least in this aspect of site conduct. And I won't get into all the interpretation of that, but part of that actually makes sense to me. And some of it could be cultural, some of it could be a competitive aspect that's there in these emerging regions, the desire to comply and to be meticulous about the data entry, and to really make sure they understand what's going on. I mean, you can have your own interpretations, but the data is what it is. It's very interesting.